And before Batista could make his return to the ring after this injury, something else kind of controversial happens. There's the now, maybe we'll call it infamous dust up with Booker T. They were filming a SummerSlam commercial. I'm going to give you the rundown of what Dave Meltzer wrote about it in the Observer, and then I want to hear from you what really happened. Here's a more detailed eyewitness account of what supposedly happened on the May 15th during the filming of the SummerSlam commercial between Booker T and Batista. There was apparently an underlying issue between the two, which neither would talk about. There's been speculation this stems from problems Melina had with Sharmell on the Australian tour, which led to the guys giving up their final night in Australia for Wrestler's Court to sentence Melina for her behavior, although Booker has told friends it was Batista's attitude that caused it, as he perceived and still does that Batista feels like he's superior to the rest of the guys and perceives the only people he respects are top guys like Triple H and Ric Flair. So let's just take a time out right there. We know in real life, cooler heads have prevailed. These are evolved human beings. This is probably way water under the bridge, so we're not trying to drudge up hard feelings. But I guess, as the story goes, Batista was dating Melina, and obviously Booker is married to Sharmell, and maybe they didn't get along. Had you heard that before, or what, from the version of events you heard, led to this issue, if you will?
You know, I have no idea who the hell Batista or Melina was dating, and could care less. Mm-hmm. Actually, I couldn't care less.
That's right. Look at you. I'm glad you got that.
Thank you. I couldn't care less, because if I could care less, then I would care less.
Yes.
But I could not care less who was dating who was doing what to who, or anything else. Is that all of Dave's report? Because I got a lot to say about this.
As Booker said,
I'd love to hear from the guy who wasn't there, hearing from somebody who says that they were, that, whatever. Was that his whole report?
No. As said by Booker on the WWE website, it did have to do with his belief that Batista didn't respect the history of the business, but the belief is there was something personal that had gone down, including Booker's claim that Batista said things directly to him that he took as being told he was nothing but a jobber. And in the course of the argument, Batista told Booker that if he didn't like it, they could settle it, and he could take him out at any time. Batista hadn't been around much in months since he had been rehabbing his surgically repaired triceps and his torn lat. Booker felt that Batista had been bragging about what a big draw he was, while the rest of the guys didn't like it, because the SmackDown guys felt they weren't earning any more money last year than they did the day before. And when Batista came to the commercial shoot, it was said that he only went up to certain guys to shake their hand, which were the top guys and Fit Finlay. For better or worse, given locker room etiquette, the guys he didn't come to who went to him, some of them felt that was a slight, which probably would have meant nothing in the long run, except things quickly compounded. Anyway, the major rule of thumb, if you're in a WWE locker room, walk up to every person there and introduce yourself the first time and every other time, and then shake everyone's hand. Apparently, Booker was one of those and felt Batista was being a big shot and had no respect for the business and cut a promo on him. The only thing we were told directly is that the two argued, and when Batista told Booker he could take him out at any time, Booker responded by saying, "Why not try right now and step into an empty room, close the door behind us, and go at it?" There was a lot of underlying negative feelings when he came over. Things went back and forth because Batista's first program was with JBL, and Batista confided in Eddie Guerrero he felt JBL was sandbagging in their program that didn't click. During the argument back and forth, which Booker was getting the better of, Batista apparently insinuated he was a draw and pointed to the SmackDown ratings going into the toilet since he left. And there were people who tried to talk Batista out of it, not just because either or both could get hurt needlessly, and both are old enough where they should know better and not be fighting. Plus, with Batista, given his triceps injury after 3 operations, he was risking his career over something stupid. By that point, he appeared to have felt that he had to save face because everyone was watching. And at that time, before they ended up fighting, when they were just arguing, it was said Batista should have let it go, but wouldn't, which is one of the reasons he was the one viewed most negatively. Mysterio was said to be the last person Batista talked with before the two left the room and them alone, and he tried to talk Batista out of it. And the first fight saw the two actually in a room. Everyone left and they shut the door. Booker's version was that he put his hand on the doorknob to close it and got sucker punched, Booker came back and was doing some real damage. Some people heard the sound of fists meeting flesh, and after a very short period of time, maybe 30 seconds, the door was opened and people saw Booker on top pounding Batista, and the wrestlers broke it up. Batista was screaming to let it continue, so they did, and Booker was again getting the better of it. Batista, in the second round, grabbed Booker's braids and tried to throw knees from the clinch like you'd see in a Muay Thai style fight. Well, aside from the fact that you can't pull someone's hair, but you can drive their head down and throw knees up. But the best they could do was hit Booker's elbow. So Booker was taunting him, saying, "Is that all you got? You're hitting my elbows." One version is Sharmell kicked Batista low and he went down, which may have been a factor in the later Melina-Sharmell incident when it was pulled apart by Angle, JBL Finley, and others. It was said that when Batista got a good punch in, described as a sucker punch, which was the punch that swelled Booker's eye. After that, it was said Booker was very furious and vowing that sometime in some place he'd get him in the back, saying, "I'm an OG," while Batista claimed Booker was a cancer to the locker room. But Booker said in front of anyone that if anyone thinks he's a bad influence in the locker room, to say it, and nobody would. Batista was apparently surprised that none of the wrestlers agreed with him. The general feeling is Booker's a laid-back guy and doesn't bother anyone and has no reputation for starting trouble. Booker looked at Lashley in particular and asked him, and Lashley said to Booker he'd always helped him out and given him good advice. Sharmell also cut a promo on Batista somewhere in there, and the general feeling, coming from several different sources, was that Batista got what he deserved. Whew! Big story. A lot of words from someone who wasn't there. Were you there? And even if you weren't, what did you hear happened that's different from Dave Meltzer's account?
Oh, to be very clear, I was not there.
Okay.
Thank God I wasn't there. You know, it's funny. I'm trying to think. Did we do it on this show? Or I did it with someone else where they asked me that, silly question about, a safe work environment.
Okay.
Okay. And I made the comment, and I know people thought I was directing it one way, when in truth, I was simply stating a truth that in going on 50 years, well, not now, I'm at 50 years in this business. Even as a small child, 10 years old, being around the business,
right,
I have never in any way, shape, or form been afraid in my workplace ever for any reason. And
what about when Fantasio came back and set you on fire?
When who set me on fire?
Some magician tried to set you on fire in Gorilla, and
I just want to kill him.
And then Brock Lesnar crushed your face with a door.
I wasn't scared when Brock crushed my face. I didn't know it was coming. Had I known it was coming, I probably would have been.
Well, that's fair. Okay, continue.
I didn't know that was coming. Okay. But
got
it. The fact of the matter is this. This business is a unique business unlike any other. It's kind of very cavemanish. It is. It's primitive in nature. The sport in which we participate, it's sports entertainment, involves a lot of physicality, and it involves a lot of room for error. It involves an awful lot of opportunity to possibly hit someone harder than maybe you would have wanted to.
Yes.
Just the sheer nature of the business itself is physical, it hurts, and it's brutal. And to an alpha male, okay, they're the big dogs, man. They're the guys that want to prove a lot of times that, you know what? Shit wants to get real in here. I'm happy to prove at any time just how real I am. And that goes for a lot of guys. It goes for guys that were in the locker rooms in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, not so much the 80s, but no, no. The 80s, it goes on for the history of time. There are always going to be those that are the alpha males. There's always going to be that one or two guys that feel, man, I rule the roost. I'm the baddest badass here. And sometimes the quietest of those cavemen, if you will, are usually the baddest because they don't have to tell you how bad they are.
That's right.
And I'm handicapped here in the way in that Booker T is one of my very best friends.
Absolutely.
Dave Bautista, so my very good friend. And I love them both dearly. Wish it wouldn't have happened. Why it happened, they know. And only they know. Anybody else is going to put their spin on it or what they think this is what they were really trying to say. Or this is why this happened, or what have you. Right. Everybody's going to want to put their own spin on it. Dave Bautista and Booker T are the only two people that know why they fought. As you get into it, they went outside. I've heard eyewitness accounts of what happened outside. I've spoken to both Dave and Booker, who both now pretty much tell the same story. And they also kind of brush it off to, hey, man, that was then, this is now.
That's right.
I'm happy for the other. And they're both, Booker will say, Dave, man, I'm so proud of him and everything he's done. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And Dave say, you know what? I'm so happy for Booker. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So whatever the bullshit that was probably, manifested by more than one or two things, isolated things, all manifested. It was like a pimple coming, to a head ready to explode. And it exploded that day at that shoot. Unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it's unprofessional. It's unprofessional in both parts.
Yeah.
So nobody gets a buy on that one. And I think that we tend to, when you don't live in that world and you hear about things like that, you hear about, oh my God, so got a fight. He punched him right in the ear. Big fucking deal.
That's right. They get punched in the ear in the ring every night.
Yeah, but it's if you your life is analytics, and you're an analytic guy, and you sit at a desk and you do analytics all day long about something that you love or not love. It's just a job,
right?
And then someone right next to you punches somebody in the face. That's shocking.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You don't see it. You don't see it all the time. You really don't. As much as we talk about, oh my God, there was this one time that they had this fight. There really weren't that many, shoot fights.
Yeah.
Of guys getting upset and going out and beating the shit out of each other and having to be pulled off of each other. I've seen a handful in 50 years.
Yeah.
So, to that, I think it kind of became much ado about nothing. Where the rub with me is it was unprofessional. It was offside. Right. It wasn't in our house. It was done. It was actually done in someone else's house. But didn't happen in our house, and that's unprofessional. So if Dave or Book would both be sitting here, I'd say it to both of them, and then Booker would probably punch me in the face, and Dave would kick me, and I'd go, "No, okay." Still that was unprofessional because now you're in my house. But so there always has been, and there always will be guys that don't like each other in this business.
Yes.
You don't have to like someone to work with someone. And the thing about it is this business in itself is a work. We go out and we tell stories every night in which I tell a story where, Conrad, I hate your guts, and here's why. And you in return talk about the admiration that you have for me and how great I am, and that I really should hate your guts. And these are just stories that we tell, and we go out and we have a match or whatever. And we come back and we hug each other and say, "Thank you, man. Love you. That was great."
Right.
So sometimes, though, if one night I accidentally pop you in the nose,
right,
and you come back and go, "What the fuck was that?" And I go, "God damn, man, your nose should have been out of the way." Yeah, okay, well, bam. Maybe yours should have too. I deserve that.
right.
You know what I mean? I deserve it. And it's just, people go, "Oh, well, fighting in the workplace is not right." No, it's not. It's not. You don't want people fighting in your mortgage company.
No.
You don't want somebody down here talking about, "Hey, man, what's the best rate I can get on my 15-year fixed loan here?" And all of a sudden, goddamn, out comes, yeah, come flying out through the window. Don't mind them.
Yeah, it's less than ideal.
It is less than ideal. But when you are in an environment in which
that's kind of your job,
it's kind of your job, and sometimes you just never know. Sometimes you just never know. Okay, are they shooting something over here or what? That's always my favorite when people. That's just shooting something. Don't worry about it. So,
yeah, I mean,
it's crazy
when the lines are blurred. I mean, I think that's even part of the story of terrible comparison, but the Brody situation in Puerto Rico, some of the local authorities thought, well, this is a wrestling story.
Yeah, and terrible, and let the poor man bleed out because they thought, it's wrestling, it's not real.
I also wonder how much, we don't know what role the ladies played in this or didn't play, but obviously when you get that component added in here, it just intensifies. And I also just want to add some context that both of these guys today are paying it forward and doing a ton of charity work. And this is not in the content of their normal character, but man, when you got this kind of testosterone and this kind of stress and travel and pressure and there's money involved, things happen, things bubble over. And I mean, this happens in professional sports, like, the NFL all the time, where guys just for whatever reason have a bad day and don't get along and it bubbles over, but then you fucking get over it and you move past it. Right.
Exactly. I always get a kick out of is in a football game when fight breaks out. And there was always one, at least one, man. There was a guy that the very first thing he did was take his helmet off.
Yes, always.
Now, when I played football, back in my day when I played football and we were district champions, we were okay. But we had a reputation, horrible reputation. We were good. We were good. But when we won, we were great winners. But when we lost, we fought.
Not good.
Horrible reputation.
Yes.
And that was you could always count and look around because you knew, man. Okay, oh well, shit, we're not scoring in here. Buckle up, buckle up, because we're coming off the bench swinging. Doesn't matter who's in the way. We're hitting somebody, even if it's our own teammate or our own coaches. We're hitting somebody.
We're gonna win something, God.
We're gonna win something, all right. My God. But it used to crack me up. He'd take the helmet off and start swinging. What the fuck is that gonna do, man?
Right.
Come on. And so when people talk about just the gall of holy cow, oh my God, they got Eddie and Kurt, the double leg and all stuff, and coming back and all Eddie was just so pissed off at himself that Eddie tried to double leg an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, that's not advisable.
Not the fact that he'd gotten in a fight, that it escalated and blah, 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 blah. Not that. Stupid. That he tried to double leg an Olympic gold medalist. Yeah. Guys, it's a physical sport, and I just think that sometimes it bubbles over. And I made this speech before about going to the principal and explaining to the principal, which I'm sure we'll get a lot of hate tweets for this. Is that sometimes I think that what's wrong with America today is not enough people are being punched in the face. 99.5% of the people online that tweet your little shit.
Oh God, come on now.
No, you cut bullshit. 99.5% of them that tweet their shit online would never walk up to that person and say that to their face.
Well, that's fair, yeah.
Because they get punched in the face. And they should. And even writing it down, what they should do is really actually have an honest to God checklist of where they actually do live and work. If you got any balls.
Come on now. You're not
then put your address. Hey man, put your address now where you work. Let's go meet somewhere. Say it to my face. Not me, because I got a hurt shoulder.
Hey, not today. That would not be good. I know you're a 19 times.
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Hall of Famer.
Everybody's got balls back here behind the keyboard.
Yes.
Hang on, my mom got home with my Oxy 10. What the fuck? I've got to go to band practice now. Play the flute.
Well, you're in a good mood today.
Yeah, I'm in a.
So, what was the reaction internally? I know anytime something like this happens, man, it becomes telephone, telegram, telewrestler, because
it was quick.
Guys in this industry, a lot of times they like to
embellish and talk and bullshit, like old ladies.
Yeah, a little gossip never hurt nobody.
Oh my God! If what they call the party line back in the day. Holy shit, man! They had a party line. That's everybody would be on it. Oh my God! Did you hear what happened? And every story would be different. That's the other thing I love. They're all different. But it was pretty quick, and got both guys on the phone. Told them how disappointed that everybody was in them. Both guys are better than that.
Sure.
And everybody got their due punishments and slap on the wrists, and don't let it happen again. You're better than that. And they are better than that. They shouldn't have done it.